I'm Tits with Doki-Doki eSports, and I am joined here by my fellow caster, Drackar.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Today we are going to be doing our recap video of the previous week games, talking about them and seeing how they went. Drakkar and I will be the ones talking about it, and yeah, let's get right into it. First we have Cero versus Vex Game 1.
Yes, sir.
I think a big glaring part of the pick ban, at least, for this game that could have been unfortunate for them was 3 jungle bans coming from Cero.
Yeah. And they didn't even like focus on what could have been like really bad for them. So like they left open the Sedge, which got immediately picked up for Le team.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw 3 jungle bans at Jax, I think that's fine. But I don't think right now that Jax is a better jungler than Sedge in team settings. So I think I would have preferred that you grab the Sedge ban and leave up someone less team oriented like an Olaf and take away the Sedge.
More like a Volibear in like this kind of team setting. Olaf's a little more high elo, but yeah, like definitely leave out Volibear and ban out the Sedge instead. Sedge has a lot of early pressure and just very destructive and just disorienting in team fights.
Yeah, so that could have been something that they might want to look at here. Overall, though, it ended up not being terrible.
No, pick bans were pretty smooth. Other than that, yeah. We need to talk about that warding early for the mid laners. The one just did both of them. I believe both of them just dropped wards in the bush, right? They just both dropped wards in the red side bush instead of taking the extra 3 seconds and dropping in the pixel bush, which gives a lot more information about where the junglers are pathing and whether or not they're going to get ganked over. Like, you can totally just completely disregard the red bush. Like, if you drop it there, as a jungler, you can just path through pixel and you won't even get seen, and you'll come behind someone, and that's what ended up happening, is get first blood off of it.
And then I think the last real big thing here, we got a fight down towards the bot side blue of Vex that ended up going in the favor of Cero. We're going to kind of try to walk through here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll walk through it here.
Essentially what happened was they chased super hard for the Jax at the fight of it, and he gets out, and they just kept chasing and chasing and chasing, and trying to remedy the situation.
Yeah, and you see that the Morgana got really low, but they really didn't have any damage there to finish her off, and it turns destructive because we see the Corki positioning like extremely well, and you know he gets a triple kill off of it here. Really good positioning here on the Corki.
The amount of damage that he was able to get off on that fight coming into the backside after everyone already blew everything was actually nuts. Ori got really indecisive there. She flashed out and then all of a sudden started walking back in, which ended up killing her. I don't know if she would have died either way, but if you're flashing out, just stay flashed out. Don't worry about going back into the fight when you're that low.
Absolutely. Just try and throw as much cooldowns in as you can. Try and skirt the edge of the fight instead of trying to go back in and take a bit of damage to try and help your team. You're a mid laner, right? So you're a little bit squishier early game. Not quite the mid game items you have like armor and magic resistance to tank up some damage yet. So yeah, just you gotta really work on positioning in that kind of sense.
Overall, after that, pretty much they all just snowballed it out of control. Had really good macro. So they ended up winning that game. Then going into game 2,
we saw a really surprising thing here in game 2, eh?
Yeah.
The Nunu with the insane ganks, the insane gank pressure here early. Like, as someone who plays like a lot of Nunu, I'm sitting here like, damn, that's some good pressure. Like, get first blood off of it, a couple other kills on the Nunu. You're looking pretty fed, right?
Yeah, definitely a lot better pressure from the Nunu than a Sedge, which is quite surprising. But overall, good job on that, and I liked what you did with the Nunu pick early. It worked very, very well for you. Gave a kill over to first blood over to Sion, which is huge. I guess he ended up picking it up, I think, but he got the kill for the Sion to alleviate some pressure to a Shen Sion lane.
Yeah, because do they need double gank? because he blew the flash, and then he came back.
He kind of wrapped around, I guess.
Yeah, he wrapped around and came back for the easy pickup on the Cho. Oh, it's a pretty smooth gank.
Yeah, and then for a fight this game, we end up having a bot fight down at 10 minutes. After a really, really good early game so far from Vex, they were up. So far it was going quite well for them, and they try sieging a turret.
Yeah, basically they're just trying to get first blood here. And then you see the engage here from the Kazakh's Oriana Shockwave. Just obliterates the minion wave.
Yeah, and then very, very good double taunt from Shen. Ends up making the Scion go down, which is very big. It gives them a lot of pressure into the lane. It allows them to start pushing up into the lane. Varus starts backing, but I believe he eventually cancels that, which is a good idea, because you need to stay here with Varus and all your members to try to keep this one turret alive. Then we had after they got the turret, a good engage from the Alistar to allow them to shut down the Nunu, which gave a lot of gold over to the Ori, to allow her to start to snowball the game. Then, yeah, nothing really else comes of that. Just started walking away, and yeah, that was a really good team fight for them. Gave them a big gold lead. But after that, nothing huge really happening throughout quite a bit of it. Again, Sarah was just far enough ahead where they could really start snowballing it. The Ori did have quite a bit of bad positioning, though, outside of team fights.
Yeah, there's the one time she was sitting there at Baron Pit just dancing by herself, and you just don't do that. Because a play from Varus just ulting over the wall or something into, Scion engage, you just get CC'd and took out, then it's a free Baron for the other team. It's really bad positioning.
Yeah, when your entire team comp essentially revolves around the Ori, that's what is the glue in this comp. If she gets taken out, you essentially have no team fight left. So you need to be careful in your positioning. If Varus would have just once pulled the trigger when she was dancing around Baron like that, you have enough CC to just chain her together and just kill her. So something you really need to be doing, especially if you're playing someone like a Varus that can be your go button to catch someone out. I think those were pretty much the big points of that series overall. Really good series from Sero either way.
Very dominating series.
Yeah, they definitely came out on top 2-0 there, and in good fashion too. Alright, and then for the next series we have HLE, which is Hydras versus Black Jaguar. And right away here we had a sweet lane swap coming from HLE. I'll let Drackar touch on that for you.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing idea just put together. They took the Tristana top lane, and they successfully pushed the top laner out of lane and got first turret. It was absolutely a very smart move. It's somewhat risky because you're going to put your top laner behind because he's going against the duo lane. But no, it was definitely a well coordinated, and it worked out just fine for them.
Ended up working out pretty well for him. It's hard to get that first turret up in the top lane too when you're lane swapping like that, just because of the damage mitigation that all the towers have except for bot lane early. So risky, but worked out well. Yeah,
they pulled up J4 and using his flag, of course, gained a billion attack speed, and it went down not really quickly, but it only took like what, 3 waves to get down.
Yeah. All right, and then next,
huge thing.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Series. Two big Baron steals.
Two huge game-winning Baron steals.
Essentially,
we're gonna talk about the Jag one first. Basically, Warwick flashed over the wall into the team of 4 or 5 HLE members, and in the midst of the chaos, he queued somebody, and the Tiamat proc stole the Baron.
Definitely not a standard Baron steal by any means, but nonetheless, it was a great Baron steal.
It was fantastic, and it set them on the path to win the first game.
Yeah, and then for a team fight, we've got 42 minutes roughly in for Jaguars here at the Baron pit that we're going to go through. They start doing the Baron here at 42:30-ish. Well, that happens. We have a Braum coming in to engage, which is fine. They get the Baron. And
throws out the ult.
Yeah. J4 decides to go in randomly, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think they had any right to win this fight. And things kind of progressed from there. They had a really good war call on the Malzahar to stop the ult.
Yeah.
And then Veigar with a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful coin there to stall out the Tristana damage to give his time to get cooldowns off and end up killing her and just kind of clean up the fight from there. It was really nice from them. The Shen does eventually go down here, but overall, that's pretty much
a little bit of chasing from the jungler.
Yeah. Ended up getting them the inhib, and yeah, overall, that's pretty much what won the game. And Jag ended up coming that on top. For game 2, we've got Zach's playing a little too aggressive in the early lane. There's a spot where
it's early throughout mid game. He really just wanted to engage. Like, he had no stop button. He wouldn't just say, well, i.e. if I cancel it is on and half. Like, it lowers the cooldown by half, right? He didn't do that. If he pulled back, he went. This was how Zach just kind of played, and he ended up inting a little bit. Like three kills ish, yeah, and a couple dragons where he tried to steal it and he just couldn't get it right.
He did end up redeeming himself with a Baron steal, which was nice to see. So he redeemed himself a little bit there to give them a.
This one was Smite though, not with Tiamat.
Yeah, this was a little bit more conventional.
For all you Zach players out there, buy Tiamat for Baron steals.
That's gonna pretty much do it for game 2 there. Jag ended up dropping that game over to HLE. Which brought us to a game 3. Great early gameplay from Jag there. Ended up getting, I think, all 3 outers in a very timely manner.
They really utilized the Trundle pick in this matchup.
Yeah.
Like, he took, I think, 2 top lane turrets, and then he went bot and got a turret. Lots of freaking global gold for everybody on Jag.
For HLE, for Jag there. And HLE ended up getting a lead for a little while there, and then do have a team fight at 21 minutes at Baron here that we're going to watch the Morgana come in from the side with HLE actually having quite a bit of a lead here.
They were HLE with, what, a 7k gold lead?
Yeah, 6 to 7k there, and we'll go through this here. Yeah, they ended up coming out of that 3 for 4. And that kind of set them up to get in a spot where they could really take over the game from there, which was huge for them. They needed a way back in, and that essentially was it.
It basically gave them enough gold that they could team fight, and that's what their comp needed to do, like away from Trundle, is team fight the other 4 members of HLE. Yeah, they just got Baron off of that, and went to victory and for the series.
Yep. Blackjack did end up winning that series 2-1. An overall good series from both teams, actually. Great. And then for the next series, we had DOV versus Unnamed Enigma. Game 1 was a pretty hectic game, honestly. The Yorick ended up getting monstrous up in the top lane, able to split for towers and really start to accrue them a massive gold lead. And then he wasn't able to translate it too much after that, being that the Jhin was able to essentially deal with him on the side lane while they were trying to siege down mid.
Yeah, and the DOV definitely turtled well. They didn't let them get any picks on them. They just cleared waves, played smart, warded smart, and the Jhin totally caught out the Yorick the one time, and he put him down and got a small lead off of it.
As soon as Jhin was able to even try to think about dealing with the Yorick, the game was going to be really, really rough for Unnamed there. That Yorick essentially applies nothing in a teamfight setting, and the Jhin went massive this game. We do have a pretty good team fight here coming out of DOV at 30 minutes that we're going to go over here. Is right after a dragon. They secured the dragon, being that they had mid lane priority. And then Unnamed tried to have a last minute team fight where they possibly could have had the Yorick still big enough to deal with everything. It just did not end up going as well for them.
Yeah, and the Jhin opened up, trying to slow their advance, but he ended up getting caught out here, and a fantastic Jano ult just pushing everybody back.
Yeah, after that, essentially, after the Jan ult, Cassiopeia was just zoning off the backline to the fullest extent possible, melting them down completely, while the Jhin was able to focus down the Sedge and the Yorick to get off of him, and as well as the Morgana. Everything just went super, super well for them there after that team fight after an amazing Janna ult. And they pretty much just won the game off of that, being that Unnamed couldn't really do anything after that. And then went into game 2. DOV ended up having a small early lead.
Yeah, they
they
picked up first blood and first blood turret. The Shyvana didn't really use it to like any advantage to try and like, because with Shyvana you want to like counter jungle, right? Yeah, and she didn't really go and pressure the enemy jungler as much as she should have with that like early lead.
Yeah, Uni ended up getting a little bit of a gold lead, and it really didn't ever look back from there. A really good fight for them, coming out 4-1 here. After DOV does grab a dragon, but after they grab the dragon, Unnamed has mid lane priority with a Rift Herald. So running up into them here is very, very scary, which allows J4 to get onto the backline here and get a huge 4-man Cataclysm, which allows Sivir to just keep firing into their entire team. Those Bouncing Blades are going absolutely enormous on there. And Syndra ended up getting the kill onto Shyvana in the backline there with her almost going down, and then Sivir ends up picking the kill up on Caitlyn, and they just pretty much snowball it from there. And then for game 3, DOV once again up early.
We're sensing a trend here.
Yeah, if you're ahead early, you're going to lose, so int early.
Yeah, int early, always.
Alright, we see Unnamed here starting up the Baron. With members pretty low here, if everyone was around here from DOV, they might be able to start a fight. But we do have an engage from Sion come out here that ends up only hitting the Cho'Gath, unfortunately, which really isn't the best start to a fight, and he has no one around him.
We see Leona here also miss her ult, and then misses a Xenoblade on the Warwick, and actually Warwick falling over the wall here, and suppressing the jungler. Shyvana ults out here, and pick up the kill on the Warwick.
So Ian was just kind of there.
It was kind of always there, but also there's a few times where he just got picked off for no reason. Mm-hmm. Like he'd be in your jungle walking around, or he'd be pushing a wave and it'd be too far. And yeah, there's a few times where he could have played a little bit further back, and there weren't as many deaths on the Swain.
So they played around the Shiv really well that game, and overall, very good series from Unnamed Enigma. That early game lead in the first game that they probably should have won, but ended up getting stalled out. And game 2, really good job at letting DOV snowball in game 3. Again, great comeback. So overall, really good series. All right, next series here we have Sero versus Affinity. Game 1 here, about as one-sided as you get. Kai'Sa ended up popping off down in the bot lane after getting a pretty early 2-0 kill onto the bot lane.
She got the 2-0 kill and another double kill on top of that barely 2 minutes later. Like, this Kai'Sa was snowballing out of control.
There was not going to be much that anyone could have really done to stop her. So we do have a team fight here to exaggerate how far ahead they really were. And this was just at 18 minutes in that we're going to go through here. They take a mid-inhib, and Affinity decides they want to start a fight, which not a good idea. Kai'Sa ends up just popping off here completely, getting so many passive procs, and just walking over every single person in this fight. You know, you had a really good stun from Taric, good ult, and a good double taunt from Shen to really help her out.
Yeah, it was really interesting why the Aurelion Sol was like that far up. He really didn't need to be. Like, yeah, it really allowed them to get engaged on so heavily.
Yeah, I think that was a very good fight from them. And that's from there, they essentially just won the game. I mean, there was nothing stopping it from there. The game did go on a little bit longer, but nothing crazy. In game 2, we had a Kha'Zix getting a very early kill on the Echo jungle. Had tried to go for a full clear, 100% full clear. Got way too low at red.
We saw the Echo got picked off. Like he was doing his red buff, and he decided instead of like going and cutting back into like his own side of the jungle, he was more coming towards the river off of red, and Kha'Zix just threw a W in his direction. Echo was at like 10 HP, so free first blood for Kha'Zix. Like, that's such a blunder on Echo's part.
I think he ended up getting out to be like 7-1 or 7-0 at some point in this game, and really nothing that you're going to be able to do against a Kha'Zix that's at Fed.
And just one shots your carry, right?
They macroed super well that game too. They were moving around the map exactly how they needed to be and wanted to be. They literally just drug Affinity around by leash, and there was nothing that they were going to do about it.
Yeah, like jungle presence was on point this game. Like if there's a game that you as if you're a jungler and you needed to like look at a game, this is a game to look at for jungle presence. Like he was everywhere. And they won off of it. Like great macro on their point.
Essentially that. We do have one last team fight here before we wrap everything up. It was at 29 minutes for Hellbent Hydras in the base of Affinity, and it was, I mean, it wasn't like a crazy fight, but it was just a stomp. There was just nothing they were going to do to stop it here. Pretty much hitting the turrets, slapping them around a little bit, and they
using that banner of command cannon minion to its full effect.
Seer ends up getting a good pick onto the Echo, which forces him to ult, and then they just dive all the members with an amazing Terra cult, and it just won the game for him right there. There was nothing that they're going to do when you're diving in head turrets and even almost Nexus turrets. It's just game over from there for him. So yeah, that right there is the end of the game.
And the series for HLE.
Yeah, overall, I mean, you don't get much more decisive win than that. Coming from unnamed, huge games from them. Yeah, that's all of our games this week. Really excited for the next week to come up here. That's going to wrap it up for the video overall. We will have top 5s coming out, as well as the predictions coming up on Friday. And thank you everyone for watching. I am Tits.
I am Drackar.
Again, thanks for coming. See you later.